Hi there, this is Indie Author Blueprint, and I'm your host, Michelle Rayburn. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you've been dreaming of publishing a book for years or you're just starting to explore the idea, you're in the right place. Now, I've been publishing episodes for the last few months, and I know that there's a lot of content out there. It's really a course in indie publishing, but if you don't know where to begin with digging through some of the topics that I've done, then what I'm going to do is have an entire article on Substack that just has some of the main topics that I've covered, kind of like an index where you can just have a start here document. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a pep talk here that goes along with that post. And then I want you to go there to Indie Author Blueprint and look for Start Here. And that's a great place. If you're just exploring becoming an indie publisher, you want to publish your own books and you want to run it like a business and you want to do it the professional way, I have all the resources there for you. When I started out, I was completely overwhelmed when I was trying to publish my first book. Now, I've been in the publishing industry in writing. I wrote for magazines, devotionals, different places, in kind of the short form for quite a few years. I got started in writing around 2001 and then eventually began publishing books. At first I said I had no book in me. It wasn't going to be that. I was just going to pursue magazine writing. And I say that as not just, but it was like that was the path I was choosing. So I knew I could sell articles and get paid to write that way and enjoy what I was doing. But then I started to have some ideas for a book. And so then I had to think about the writing, the editing, the publishing, the marketing. Do I want to publish traditionally? Do I want to write a book proposal and do it that way? Or is this more of a do it myself thing because it fits with the speaking ministry I had? You'll see this is kind of the theme. Like we need to know what our purpose is and why we write, right? Because we need to know why we do it and who we're doing it for before we can make those decisions about how we should do it. So for me, it felt huge. I didn't know where to begin. And I did learn little by little. I made a lot of mistakes. I found good resources. And then I published my first book. And then I've talked about this in some episodes. I will not give you the whole story here. But I'll just say that eventually, when I guess I'll call it hybrid publisher that I used closed down and the distributor dropped my book, I had no way of printing more copies. And so I re-released it because I owned the rights to the content. I re-released it myself on KDP, and that started my completely independent journey where I wasn't using a hybrid publisher. I was the publisher and doing all of the work myself. So I've done it through trial and error and a lot of tears along the way. I've learned from mistakes, and now I coach and help others do that with their books as well. One of the best things about indie publishing is that you get to define what success looks like. So maybe you want to build a full-time author business and you have a lot of different book ideas in you. Maybe you have a story that just needs to be told, and maybe you want to do it a little more professionally than just going down to a print shop and having a few copies printed. Or maybe you just want to hold your book in your hands and share it with the world. All of that is possible, but I do coach people more in the direction of seeing it like a business. There are other places where if you have one book idea and you want a few copies for your family, there are other ways you can do that. I would not recommend you go through all this work to do that because this really is an industry and you're learning a whole new industry. But if you are thinking about being a publisher and doing more than one book, then that's what I'm here to help you with. Now, the start here is going to cover, I'm going to just group together all the topics I have covered on this show in looking at the publishing as a business, choosing a publishing platform, cover design, interiors, metadata, book blurbs, pretty much anything you would need to know in going from once you've finished your manuscript to getting it to the publishing place. I don't sugarcoat it because indie publishing is a lot of work. It's not just upload the Word document and publish it. It doesn't work that way. And it's also not a if you publish it, they will come situation, because that is not how it works either. There are so many books on the market that if you just publish your book and walk away, it doesn't sell itself. It just doesn't work that way. So you don't have to have it all figured out today. You just need to know where to take the next step. And that's why I'm pulling it all together in a Start Here guide. So it's kind of like an index for you. I've covered a lot of these topics, even touched on marketing a little bit too. And I know it can be hard to know where to begin because you have some skills and you might have to hire somebody for other skills. And I've addressed that in these episodes where you need to know what you can do and what you need to hire out. So when you see everything in one place, you can see the big picture and you can really zoom in on what you need and when you need it. And I have some publishing plans that I've put together in some of the previous episodes where there are a thing listing out who will do this. Will I do it? Will somebody else do it? So this Indie Author Blueprint really is a tool for you to figure out what you need to do in order to get your book done. Maybe you are a graphic designer, for example, and you don't need to hire that piece. So this helps you look at all of that. Now, imagine seeing your book for sale. It's ready to go. It's not just a dream. It's a reality. You know that it doesn't happen overnight. It starts with one little step, and I'm here to walk with you so you're not alone, because it feels very lonely when you're walking that journey and you're frustrated and you can't figure something out. If you're ready to dive in, then I want you to go to Indie Author Blueprint on Substack and look at the Start Here guide, and then pick some of the topics that you see that I've covered and focus on one thing. You don't have to do it all today. So decide where you're going to start and treat this like a learning course. Pick the topic that you want to learn about, dive in and look at how I've talked about that, and then pick another one and dive in and talk about or learn about that. And if you get going along the way and you discover that you have some questions, that's what I'm here for. And especially if you are a paid subscriber to Indie Author Blueprint, you can always send me a private message and ask me a question, and I'm happy to point you toward a resource that will help you. If you really get stuck and you'd like to have a paid coaching call on top of your subscription, we can do that too. I can hop on Zoom with you and then we can talk through what your next step is. At least get you rolling toward that. I don't do the coaching on the entire process because that's what I do with the clients that I work with on their whole book. I do their editing, I do their cover, I do their interior design, and I help them launch the book. So for the rest of you, that's what Indie Author Blueprint is here for. I've essentially taken a lot of my coaching topics and put them into blog posts and worksheets and podcast episodes for you to consume. All right, so final word of encouragement for you. You don't have to be perfect to get started. You just have to be willing. Your book is waiting and your readers are waiting, and this journey is going to be worth it.